So, welcome to Cardiff.
Thank you very much, sir.
How's yourself? How's the rest of the band? Are you all keeping yourself healthy?
Sort of. Yeah, this is like, this gig should have been like way back.
Yeah.
And I think it was cancelled like 3 times or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's the same on, I can't remember where we were like yesterday.
Southampton.
What?
Is Southampton history?
I don't know, I can't remember. But this is like we're now catching up with the things that we couldn't do.
Going on to the postponements, you must be really glad now to finally be able to play Cardiff after so many cancellations or postponements.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's affected everyone, but yeah, it's great. When the only thing that the downside of it is we haven't played for probably 4 months or something. So when you're on a tour, it's great because the band get better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
And like when it gets broken up like this, you suddenly, you haven't played for such a long time that, it's like starting a new tour all the time. So we were a bit like that, sort of making sure everything's working and that, So it's a bit more difficult, I should say. You don't have time to really get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only got one more show after this, and I'm like working on a new album at the moment because of all the time we've had off and that.
Yeah.
So my head's like spinning. I don't know what day it is,
So what was life like for yourself and with the other members of the band, with Bob, during the COVID period? Because, like I say, the postponements happened with Cardiff being a few times, but the whole tour at one point was postponed.
If I remember rightly, like I said, I'd started to write the new album way back. But Bob and I were. Well, I went in the studio and recorded a few things, and I've got like a studio at home and continue to do that. And then I got Bob to. I went in the studio again and got Bob there with me, just to find out the right keys and all that sort of stuff, and which we did. This is so confusing because I'm thinking back how we did it. But then, of course, I think Bob. Now then, we did a big tour earlier. So like we'd be like spread out. It's really confusing. I mean, 1 minute I'm writing. For a new album.
Yeah.
And the next minute they're saying, no, you're on tour. Then that was cancelled. Oh no, okay, I'll carry on writing, the tour's on again and all that. It was like that, so driving me crazy.
With you currently finishing off the Monsters Row tour, have you thought about, because it's your 50th, have you thought about doing maybe a tour of just your early stuff or a greatest hits tour? Is that something which as a band you've talked about, or is it your focus is on the present rather than the past?
For me personally, it's always the present or the future, in fact, really.
Yeah.
But I do realise that people want to hear, stuff from way back and that, which we do a few of those things, tonight you'll hear. and it's gone down really well, obviously. But it's like if you're you want to progress, you know.
Yeah.
But then you can't ignore what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Obviously.
There's so many bands are present, especially which have had longevity like yourselves, which focus more on the past rather than the future. So it is something of a good thing that we do get to listen to new materials, because there are artists out there which basically don't want to play new stuff, don't want to write new stuff.
Yeah.
And and to be honest, one of my favourite albums, Vigilante, it's up there so much with my greatest, one of the greatest albums I got.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and the Monster Rose is I think I graded it. I think it was 9.6, something like that, when I done my review.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it's a solid album. With the new album, you say you're writing. When do you think that would be ready by? Is it something you just taking your time doing, or have you set targets for that?
Well, normally it's the record company who set the target.
Yeah.
I think I've got to have this album. Oh, what it is, it's the vinyl thing. They have to book, you know, the vinyl.
Yeah.
Because there's a shortage of vinyl. Like they had years and years ago.
Yeah.
They came out with all this stuff. Oh, you can't make records anymore because vinyls,
Yeah.
that sort of crap. And that's what's happening now as well. So I think this record's got to be ready for August. I've got to have it completed and handed to them this coming August. So, but I mean, I think I've got like 9.5 songs,
Wow.
sort of in really good shape.
Yeah.
I don't have a title yet. I actually thought of a title today for the album, but I can't tell anybody because I'll probably change it or something, I don't know. But yeah, and all the stuff I'm pleased with what I've done. It all sounds like pretty good to me. So
what's your process when you're writing an album? Do you just sit down there with a guitar? Do you is it yourself which writes the lyrics, or do you take the turns with Bob?
No, I write everything, and like Bob's happy with that.
Yeah.
We've that bit from day one, you know,
Yeah.
like 50 years ago until now. But like I said, I've got a studio at home, and
Yeah.
I've got like a pretty big setup and that, you
Yeah.
know, I'll play the all keys and use drum machines and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that it's a process of I mean, to drive people mad.
Yeah.
You know, if I was saying to the drummer, "Oh, do this," "Oh, no, don't do that now. Do this, do that."
Yeah.
So I do it myself, and it gives the drummer
Yeah.
an idea. You know, Lee would pick up on what I'm doing, and just do it like that, really.
Do you send ideas over to Bob and say, well, what do you think about this?
No, I actually go. I get it, and we go into the studio.
Right.
A proper studio, like the real thing.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, I'm going to play this song now. It's probably in the wrong key, but whatever.
Yeah.
And playing the song and give him the lyrics, and he sort of works things out, and he picks up really quickly on when we're recording, and by the end of the day we'll have a rough idea if this song works
Yeah.
well or not, you know.
Do you then go back then, say, like you said, that if it doesn't quite fit, do you still keep those ideas but then just change them around slightly?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you know, everyone has their own idea if something works or not.
Yeah.
But I'm the producer, so I can go, like, hang on a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Bob's like a very malleable when he's doing things, you know, like...
Yeah.
I go, no, let's change that, Bob, let's do this, let's do that, and he's there, and he's... In fact, everybody in the band's like that.
Yeah.
And I get them in one by one, really. You know, everybody just like really gives their all, and I mean, especially keyboard player, new bass player, Dennis, and that, you know, and they make. I mean, it excites me, you know, that with the ideas they come up with. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Going into 2023, will you be continuing this tour, or will you be saying, right, that's gone, let's focus on the new album?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got like one more show to do after tonight. Then I'm sort of, I can't wait to carry on doing what I've already started. I just want to really get that sort of really going a lot. I mean, today, like I said that I was writing down titles, things. I know what the cover is. I haven't done it yet, but I know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I've got this title which excited me while I was in the van, freezing cold. And so that was like egging me on, you know. I was thinking, oh great, I love this, you know. So we'll see how it turns out.
Finally, future plans. You got the new album. You've got the date from the label, which of August. So going forward, big tour after that.
Yeah.
And will you be taking that tour worldwide, or will you just be focusing on Europe?
Well, it'll be Scandinavia, all over Europe, and the UK and Wales, and
that's the main one.
yeah, all over really. We did a pretty big tour this, you know, just gone.
Yeah.
Seems to have just disappeared to me, but
it is quite strange, really, because this is a tour which should have happened about 2 or 3 years ago. So it's you can see that it's like.
I tell you what it was. We were actually we were rehearsing. I mean, this seems like years ago now. We were rehearsing to go on tour.
Yeah.
And I get this phone call. Hello. The tour's pulled. What? And we'd like rehearsed. We'd been rehearsing for 3 weeks, and we were all ready to go, you know. And I thought, oh no. Although we knew that a lot of things were happening. But it was so disappointing. And we figured, oh well, you know, maybe it'll all sort of sort itself out. And it took a long time to sort itself out. And but that was like, you know, it was just like so disappointing to have to do that. But things, at the end, it ended up being okay. Like, you know, nice to be back and playing again. So
yeah, it's been quite a tricky concert. Well, tonight's one, because it's been postponed. It's like, right, when is the concert again? When? So it's been.
Who are they?
Yeah. But yeah, it's great that you're finally.
Yeah.
Finally. But thank you so much for this interview. This has been fantastic speaking to you and learning that you're in the process of writing a new album. So, looking forward to it.
Cool. It's great.
So, thank you. Thank you so much.
Brill. Hey.